Hello everyone, welcome back to the Lord of the Rings, the SLOTRO edition. This is Gnarlrynae here. Say hello to everyone, Gnarlrynae. Good girl. When last we left off, we were talking here with Langlis. We had finished pretty much everything. Look at that beautiful snow. Isn't it wonderful? I love the haze in the distance it gives. Nice snowstorm. I really like it when it does that in the Ered Luin here. We have been talking to Langlis. We had traveled with him over there to the Grimwater. I think it's the Grimwater is the name of it. Yep, the Grimwater. We had traveled up in there. We had heard that Langlis was being held prisoner by the Dourhands. So we had traveled over there, but he has already been moved down here to Kheledul, the last city, if you ignore Sarner, the last city over here that the Dourhands still control in this region. So he has told us to go down the hill and talk to Svarner. That because of the people, because of the massive amount of Dourhands in the area, that it's a situation where we would not be able to just march straight into the city. And, I think we've proven that wrong before. We've had a couple of missions down in Kheledul here already. But okay, maybe if it's the two of us coming down here, obviously with a purpose, maybe he should have said something more along the lines of they would perhaps kill Avorthal or move him somewhere else if he knew we were coming. So instead, let's go down here and let's talk to Svarner and see if Svarner knows the secret ways into the city. He was I think they said the harbor master before, if I remember the text correctly. And we see the big glowing ring. Oh, isn't it pretty out here today? Nice, and it's nice to be out here in the daytime as well. What time is it in the game? We are in the afternoon. So maybe we will get this this particular adventure done. Svarner looks off toward the city itself. And the gold sellers are out. Let us go ahead and let's look at the history right quick. It has been a few days since we were on. So let's go ahead and look at the history. We must not delay, Gnarlrynae. We must rescue Avorthal from the Dourhands before they are able to set sail. The Dourhands control the port city of Kheledul to the east, and the ship they plan to carry Avorthal is surely docked there. Kheledul is defended by a score of Dourhands, and it is a position of great strength. We cannot hope to attack it directly. If we are to have any hope of rescuing Avorthal from Kheledul, we will need the help of one who knows the city. I know a dwarf, a longbeard named Svarner, who was harbor master at the port before the Dourhands captured the city. You will find him to the east of here, not far from Kheledul. So he was the harbor master, as I thought. Okay, so we are going to talk to Svarner. We will continue along here.
I am at your service.
As I'm saying, I am thinking that this should be perhaps the last of the missions here in the prologue. There might be one or two little wrap-up quests to do, but this should finish off the prologue and get us into Book 1. And what a while it has been to get here, isn't it? Let's see what Svarner says.
If you want to get inside Kheledul, I'm the dwarf you need. The Dourhands have let my fine harbor sink into filth and disrepair. Any foe of theirs is a friend of mine. A ship came out of the north and has been sitting at anchor for a few days now. From what I can gather, she's called the Irestone, and her captain is a particularly unpleasant-looking Dourhand. If he's planning on taking the elf prince back north on his ship, you'll need to hurry. I overheard the guards at the gate saying the ship wouldn't be long in port. During the day, you will be too visible, but at night you might not be a burglar. You might... Excuse me. Swallowed a bug there. But at night, you need not be a burglar to sneak into Kheledul undetected. You'll want to stay clear of the night watch, or they'll raise the alarm.
So we are going to, looks like red, sneak into Kheledul and stay clear of the Night Watch. So now we talk to Svarner once again. He will probably move us on to nighttime now. If you are prepared, let us go. And that is what we will do. I'm going to go get me another cup of coffee, as I should have been prepared, but I was sitting here drinking this one as I was trying to make sure that the recording and all was doing well. So I will see y'all inside. Recaffeinated.
Avorthal had been moved from the Dowerhand encampment to a ship preparing to depart for an unknown port in the north. His rescue is paramount to maintaining peace in Ered Luin.
And there we go. Night has fallen as we were doing that. Now we need to find out where... Let's see. Find Avorthal. Wonder where he is going to be. The gate is right down here. I saw something moving back off there to the side. I'm going to move right on down here for the moment. There we are. Let us see. Now, he said sneak. Avoid the Night Watch. Sneak in and avoid the Night Watch. I wonder why he put it in red letters like that, you know? Because it's like, I don't really have a sneak ability. Now, I'm wondering at this point, as we come up, is that the Dowerhand strong arm? He looks like he's sleeping. There's the Night Watch. Those are the guys that we have to avoid. Perhaps by sneak, he simply means stay away from the, stay far enough away. We're going to pull up Trotter's friend of bears there. Hello, Bobo. We haven't seen you in a while. Maybe he just means stay far enough away from them? Let's see how this guy... Yep. He's snoring. And stay away from the Night Watch. Now, as long as my bear doesn't start howling, let's get up here where we can see any Night Watch. There's the Night Watch over there. Let's stay away from him. We're definitely going to see if we can get down here. Alright, he's wandering back this way, so let's head on down there. We're trying to get down onto the docks where hopefully the boat will be. Find Avorthal. Whoop. There's another guy walking around, so we need to be careful about that one. Whoop. And here comes one around the buildings over there. Now, is this guy going to come up here on the bridge, or are we going to have to take a dive into the lake? Into the port, into the canals, into the streams, into the slips. What is it? I think the dock slips, the harbor slips. Isn't that what they're called? Is there... We don't want that Night Watch guy over there seeing us. Maybe this guy will wander enough over to the left. I think we're safe from the one behind us. Let's see. Which way is that guy going? That's a seafarer. So he's not one of the, technically not one of the Night Watch. There's Avorthal. We have found him. Let's see if we can get past the seafarer there. Get on board the boat. And see what we can find. Alright, Avorthal. We have searched long and hard for you, my friend.
Praise Elbereth, one who might be of help.
You are here to free me? Skorgrim Dowerhand has raised a goblin armorer
army in the cleft of Rath Tereg, and unless we stop him, he will sweep through all the free lands. There is no time to waste, my friend. We will need to defeat the captain and his crew if we are to escape from Kheledul with our lives and bring word of the danger which grows stronger within Rath Tereg. The captain will soon return. Quickly, untie my hands. We need to escape from here. All right, defend Avorthal. So here we go into battle mode. Whoop, there comes the captain. See, I remember this in the past. This is one of those perfect examples of what I'm talking about. How in the past, this was a full-on battle. Come to my aid, you worthless thinbeards. This was a full-on battle with a bunch of... You have successfully defended Avorthal. Victory is ours! It was a full-on battle with a bunch of Dower Hands out here. You needed an entire party in order to do it. It was one of those things where, you know, the game has received criticism at times in the early days about how you'd have a string of like solo missions and duo missions, and then every chapter would end with like a big fellowship. And they were like, well, what if you can't do it? You know, what if you don't have friends? That sort of thing. So that's why they changed it, so that all these are available and possible to do solo. Let us see here. Looks like we've got some hope. We do. Hope of 3. Wow. Just being around Avorthal is giving us that much hope, huh?
The shadow has risen.
We must hurry, Gnarlrynae. Skorgrim has assembled an army of goblins within Rath Tereg, and though my rescue should end the threat of war between dwarves and elves, I fear that the goblin army will not long remain within that narrow pass. Let us bring this warning out of Kheledul into the light of morning, and may our chances for peace also shine bright. All right, rescue by moonlight. Very good. We may return now. All right, that didn't take long at all. Seem to remember it being a much longer fight than that in the past. Let us go back to Langlis here. Let him know that we have rescued Avorthal from the Dower Hands. Thank you for once again not doing a damn thing to help. Rangers. Rangers. That's all I need to say. Rangers. Whenever I see one, whenever I know I'm working with one, I always think of any of y'all who've seen, is it Tron Legacy? Is that the newer Tron movie where you have the second in command, and well, I won't call him a second in command. That would actually be the Tron character, but if you remember Clue has his kind of herald guy with that plastic shield over his face, and he's like, we have today a user. And that's the kind of thing, the way I feel when I see a ranger. Back to the mission. Avorthal is safe, and the promise of peace is much closer than it was, but Ered Luin is not free of the threat of war just yet, Gnarlrynae. We must defeat Skorgrim Dowerhand and end his menace, and we must do this quickly before he can put the second stage of his plan into motion.
Would you do something for me?
Very good. No, we continue on, don't we? It doesn't end with just us rescuing Avorthal. We are still in the prologue. Wow. I will send word to Matthew Stouthand and Gaelathan in Gondomar of Avorthal's safe return, and to warn their masters. The free peoples of Ered Luin must unite if they are to drive Skorgrim and his goblin allies from this land. While Lord Dwalin and Master Dorangur assemble their forces, I have an urgent task for you, Gnarlrynae. The goblins have mustered in Rath Tereg, and if we are to have any hope of reaching Skorgrim, we must thin their ranks. Journey to the outskirts of Rath Tereg, the valley south of Gondomar, and speak with the dwarf there, Ingolfer. He will have more instructions for you. Aid him, and Dwalin and Doronagur may have a greater chance for victory. Wow, that's almost a dwarf name. That's such a tongue twister. Doronganur. All right, we will do that. We are going to head over to the Rath Tereg, which is just south of Gondomar, and I'm going to take the stable master to get there.
I am at your service.
And we will see you again once we have arrived. So, see you in just a few. We have arrived here in Gondomon, and unfortunately, the way the hood, you know, with DirectX 11, you have self-shadowing, and the shadow from my cloak there is making me look like Gnarlrynae has some 5 o'clock shadow. You need a little shave there, my dear, or maybe some nair. All right, we need to talk to Ingolfer outside of the Rath Tereg. So we've not actually been there. I remember the Rath Tereg right down here, and there being a bunch of missions, but I did not remember that they were part of the actual prologue. Did not know the missions that involved that's part of the prologue series here. So that explains why, yes, we've got to go down into there. I thought they were just, every day I run through the Gondomon, training my legs to be strong and my heart to be tough. Joggers. User. So I do remember the adventures down here, but I thought they were a bunch of a side quest. So we are definitely not through with our adventures down here in Ered Luin yet, after all. Let us continue on around until we can get to the actual road leading down. We could have probably more easily come out of the gate here instead of circling around. If we'd come up there, the stairs that lead around the backside, but that's okay. We could have jumped over the railing there, for that matter, along the path. As you see, we're going to continue on down. For some reason, my sense of direction gets really screwed up. I always think of this. For some reason, I mean, I know the north side is that way, toward the Grimwater and toward the Barrows and all up that way. But for some reason, I always think of this as north as well. For some reason, I'm always thinking that as you travel up from Gondomon, you go north again, up into the Elven lands instead. And that's just totally wrong, you know. You're heading actually to the southeast. It's very strange. It's weird the way my head gets turned around as far as the directions and all go. And as you see here, you should be able to see some fences and barricades and stuff, so you'll be able to see some inkling of where we might be headed in the future. Anyway, here's the barricade, and we need to talk new deed, Rath Tereg exploration, the northern barricade. All right, let us throw in a travelogue here right quick and see what it has to say. The northern barricade of Rath Tereg is held by stalwart dwarf warriors posted out of Gondomon. Since the resurgence of the goblins in Ered Luin some years ago, the dwarves have fought to keep them bottled up in Rath Tereg to prevent them from spilling out into the vales and forests beyond. Okay, travelogue is done. Let us come on down here. We've got a couple of dwarves. Trally Hammerfist. And over here is Ingolfer. Goblins. If I never see another goblin again, I'll know that our efforts here were not wasted. Hello, Ingolfer. This is a dangerous post, but keeping the goblins out of the lowlands is as satisfying a duty as you could have. Alright, we got a couple of quests, Goblins in the Valley and the prologue, preparations for the assault. Let's look at the Goblins in the Valley.
Greetings, traveler. Will you stay a moment?
My thanks to you for standing by us on this. You are not here to simply cull the local vermin. You want to deal with the real threat, that is to say, goblins. The foul things have been bubbling up out of the ground like bees from a kicked hive. I don't rightly know what has gotten them all riled up, nor do I much care, but I believe it is their leader, Gazrip. If you are up for a fight, get in there and break some goblin heads. If we can shatter their morale by defeating their leader, we will pin them in through the winter. The snows are to block up these passes till spring, and we will be free of them for a long while at least.
So defeat Gazrup, who seems to be the goblin leader in this particular pass. And we can go to the prologue as well.
I am at your service.
Langlis sent you. He's a queer sort, that one, but a fine fellow for sending aid. If he thinks you are capable, then I have no reason to keep you from your task. You will find all manner of foul goblins beyond our barricade here. Do your best to avoid the truly dangerous ones, and be careful not to travel too deeply within the valley. Fearsome are the goblins beyond the great peak at the heart of Rath-Tareg. So defeat melee goblins in Rath-Tareg, and defeat ranged goblins in Rath-Tareg. That we will do. Do you have any quests? Yes, I thought you might have some quests for us too. Trolley Hammerfist. Spiders of the Vale.
Greetings, traveler. Will you stay a moment?
Ah, greetings. Welcome to the beautiful Rath-Tareg, the finest stretch of desolate rock and goblin holes in all of the Blue Mountains. If you've come to help, we could certainly use it. Things have gotten worse of late, and now all manner of things are crawling out of the ground around here. I'd personally be grateful if you could do away with a few of the spiders that infest the area. I used to run patrols in there now and again, but since they showed up, I haven't been able to bring myself to set 1 foot past this barricade. I've been afraid of spiders since I was a wee lad. So, what say you? Are you up for the challenge, or would you rather join me freezing my hinder parts off until the snows come? So defeat 8 spiders. And let's see what other vermin are in there.
Come and stay a moment, friend.
Cave claws in the narrows. We need to keep our enemies pinned within Rath-Tareg as best we may. The number of goblins seems to grow each day, but our stout barricades have been enough to keep them at bay. However, those vile milk-eye cave claws have taken to creeping up and burrowing beneath the barricades in the deep of night, and threaten to undermine the walls if we can't find a way to stop them. If you could hunt a number of the creatures down, it should serve to put a halt to their incessant digging and gain us time to repair any damage they've already done. So defeat 9 milk-eye goblins. That we can do as well. Aren't these beautiful ballistae? Aren't they just? I remember coming from EverQuest, and especially in South Corona. There were a couple of towers right as you got to the bridge that led into South Corona in EverQuest. They had these ballistae on top of them, but they were big, blocky, chunky things. You know, they didn't have the curves. They were all right angles and all. They were really great for back in the day. But then I remember coming here and playing EverQuest, playing SLOTRO when it was new, and just being astounded by the wood texture and the curves and the fact there were little arrow slits here that you could look out of. You might remember them if you go and check my Akanon. Check my video where I did the city tour of Akanon when we were up on the top of the wall. There's a couple of ballistae up there too, and possibly over at the capital fortress. So you can see what it was like. All right, we got a couple of Free People's Guards here. I don't remember if they were there back in the day or not. I know these two were. I think the guards were here, but they might have been inside the door. I remember running to them a few times back when we were a young, lowly dwarf lad on Gnarlrynae and hunting down here, hunting the lurker, the spiders, and the cave claws and the goblins. All right, so there you go. That's where we're going to call this episode. We will see you next time. Hope we've enjoyed it. We have rescued Avorthal and managed to prevent a war between the elves and the dwarves, hopefully, as our leaders meet. So we will do that, and I will think about when we will get on again. Hopefully, this next week will not be nearly as busy and time-consuming as the last one has been. So until then, we will see you then. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for being patient, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.